Hello there. Happy 8-8 day, one day after, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Sidney Crosby's 35th birthday. That's going to be a main topic for today's show. As my YouTube audience is aware, for those that are watching, yes, I am back in my own home. Do not have to deal with my 5-year-old Mac and that kind of audio, I guess. But, I'm back here, just better setup than where I was just, I like the background here. And I like recording on my PC a lot better. But for today's show, of course, we're going to get into Sidney Crosby's 35th birthday, go over some of my favorite moments of Sid's career. Also going to get into some front office hires the Penguins made today that were announced by Ron Hextall and Brian Burke. And we'll also get into some jersey talk. I'll touch on a small scoop from what I'm hearing about the Winter Classic jersey, and then some of the reverse retro jerseys were leaked today. Are the Penguins going to have one? If they are going to have one, what could it be? I'll get into that a little later on in today's show as well. So it's all coming up right after this drop.
You're Locked On Penguins, your daily podcast on the Pittsburgh Penguins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Penguins podcast. I am your host, Hunter Hodes. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Hunter Hodes. Follow the show's Twitter at LO_Penguins. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more prompts, odds, and lines than ever before. That is BetOnline, where the game starts. So again, happy Monday to you all. August 8th. We're, keep chugging along here throughout the offseason. There was, some decent NHL news today. Lawson Crouse, 5-year extension in Arizona. Nicholas Raw, believe is a 5-year extension in Las Vegas. Trace Bergeron goes back to the Boston Bruins. David Krejci goes back to the Boston Bruins. Just a whole, swath of news today. Still nothing on some of the bigger free agents like Nazem Kadri, but perhaps a more busier day than we've been accustomed to during the offseason. But let's start out with the obvious here. Happy 35th birthday to Sidney Crosby. I honestly almost just refuse to believe that he's 35. Time has flown by so quick in this era. I still remember when I was 7 to 8 and he was, making his NHL debut. And that's probably one of the favorite, just one of my best moments of just watching this team was seeing him make his NHL debut, and just seeing how loud and lively Mellon Arena was. Like you knew this kid was going to be special right when he got on to the ice. My favorite moment, one of my favorite moments for his rookie season, first game against a Canadian team, and of course it was against the Montreal Canadiens, the team he grew up rooting for. They win in a shootout because of Sid. Came in, absolutely deked the living heck out of Montreal's goalie at the time, and just went, forehand, backhand, roofed it past him. And it was just, I was like, wow. I wish he still did that kind of stuff today in shootouts, but that was one of the moments there that I was like, oh my God, like, you don't teach that kind of stuff. Fast forward, a little bit, the dueling hat trick game against Ovechkin, just watching him and Ovi go at it. But, Sid, every time Ovi would score, Sid would respond. That was just so epic in so many ways. Another goal that he had against the Montreal Canadiens, going a bit further up in the timeline, when he bats the puck out of the air, bats it in with his stick. I'm just like, Sid's hand-eye coordination has always been amazing, but you don't see that kind of stuff every day. He had another similar one, I believe it was 2017 2017-18 against the New Jersey Devils, or was the season after that. The Penguins hit the post on 3-on-3 overtime. I don't know, it was Crosby hit the post on the 3-on-3, comes out, follows his shot, whacks it like with a baseball bat, puck goes in the net past Kincaid, and it's just like, it's nuts. The fact that he's able to do that, and it looks like he's not even trying, is nothing short of a miracle. Going back a little bit more, it was, again, this was his rookie year playing against the Flyers. Everyone, knew the Flyer fans were just going to always hate him. And that loser that Ken Hitchcock is. Remember, he was the one that started that whole Sidney Crosby whining garbage that you probably still see today from fans who, it's been 17 years. Who cares? And I can't stress this enough. Ken Hitchcock is a freaking loser. His systems were always garbage. They slowed the game down. He was, he talks about Sidney Crosby being a baby. That dude was probably one of the biggest crybabies I've ever seen behind an NHL bench. I have no respect for that guy. Never will. And he was the one after the game when Sid, had his teeth knocked out by Darian Hatcher, and Sid also had the overtime winner. He was the one that, just basically told him to stop crying about it and it's hockey and all that. But, the game, the call, the game on his stick and all that stuff. And he took that goal personally because he had one heck of a celebration. I'm honestly surprised he didn't just, I guess I'm not that surprised that he didn't just give the crowd the double bird or something like that, just because, it's Philadelphia and they were booing him all night. But, that was what really set the Penguins Flyers rivalry in motion for the Sid era. And just what a great goal that he had there. And I'll always remember, watching that with my mom and just both of us going absolutely crazy. The one that comes to mind, the Jason Spezza moment, 2010 against the Ottawa Senators. Sid just puts him into a blender behind the net, goes to work, the edge work that he can do with the puck. I mean, and Spezza's doing everything possible to, get the puck off his stick, but he was just not able to do it. And Sid feeds Letang at the point. They score the goal right there to give them the lead. And that was the goal that ended up winning game 2 against the Senators. Remember Pittsburgh lost game 1 against Ottawa. I believe that was a, if I recall, if I recall correctly, that was a 5-4 final. In game 2, they were able to get that goal with, just a few minutes remaining in the third period. But, that's always a goal that I'll remember very fondly. Obviously, the overtime winner against Tampa Bay in 2016, just not even 30 seconds in. That was honestly the one thing that we hadn't seen from Sid yet. He didn't have, that really big clutch OT winner in a playoff game to just propel the Penguins up. And he was able to check that off his list and, just get the Penguins right back into that series. They lost a really close game in game 1. If he doesn't score there and the Penguins potentially lose that game, they're down 0-2 against Andrei Vasilevskiy and a very good Lightning team. I'm not really sure if they climb out of that. That's why that goal was just so freaking important. The goal against the Sabres when he went one on 5, basically went right past O'Reilly, right past the defense, one-handed flick over Robin Lehner. Honestly, if we're talking about the goal of his career, I would say that's the best one. Just the way he was able to knife through them like it was nothing. It was just, it was just crazy. I just couldn't believe it. A goal from 2014 against Ottawa comes to mind when he absolutely schooled Erik Karlsson, deked the heck out of him, fed it to the front of the net, and it ended up going in. I believe that was from game 2 of not 2014, excuse me, 2013. Sorry, when he was able that was game 2 and the Penguins went up 2-0 on Ottawa. That was just a wonderful move from Sid. But I think, all those goals and all those pretty plays aside, it's just been so great to see him, just mature into the person he is now. He is, beloved by, I think, every single person in the city of Pittsburgh. He is a leader on and off the ice. I don't think anyone has had, outside of, toxic fans calling him a baby, calling him a diver and all this stuff. When you ask people who have covered the game for as long as they have, and you ask, longtime fans who I think have a great respect for all the great players, they will probably not say a bad thing about Sidney Crosby. And, again, I know it was rough at times just because people, were just hating to hate, but I think he's really grown on a lot more people over the years. And he's also just turned into a really well-rounded player. His defensive impact is also a lot better now than where it used to be. He's had multiple top 10 finishes in the Selke award. Was not there this year, but in years past, he's almost been a Selke finalist. I would say a couple of those times, and he makes everyone around him better. He's the exact kind of player that you would want to be a captain. Always goes out of his way to welcome new players to the team and stuff, and just randomly gets their numbers. And sure, he's definitely kind of a hockey robot at times. He's very superstitious, but he's how do I want to say this? I know he's not from Pittsburgh, but I think everyone in this city thinks that he is, just because he's been here for so long, and he's brought so much joy and so much happiness to so many people in the city. And you look at his 82 game point pace for every season of his career. This comes courtesy of Danny Shirey. Even this past year, 98 point pace if he would have played a full year. The year before that, 91, 2019-20, 94, 2018-19, 103. Remember when during those couple years they had the concussion in 2011-12? He had a 137 point pace over an 82 game regular season. He honestly could have hit 150 that season. It would have been close had he been fully healthy. That is how good Sid was during those peak years. Even 2012-13 when he was a bit banged up. 127 point pace. 2010-11, 132 point pace. Those 3 years, what could have been for the Penguins? I mean, he just lost so many games from the peak of his career. I mean, he's at 1,400 points right now, right? He would be well over 1,600 points by now had he not missed a good chunk of those times. He honestly, he would. I don't think he would have hit 2K. I just don't think he's going to do that now. I think right now, if he didn't miss a lot of that time during those years, he'd be over 1,600 right now. He probably would finish with. I wouldn't say he's going to hit. He would hit 2K, but he would be awfully close to hitting 2K points. Maybe 1,800. A little over that, maybe 1,900, something like that. But he would. It would be close. Yeah, I don't think he would hit 2K. I think it's a little weird there. Maybe not even 1,900, but I would say definitely would, I think, end his career with over 1,750, 1,800 points. Just because how much he lost in the prime of his career. Also lost a good chunk of Hart trophies and all that stuff. But just what a career he's had. One of the 5 greatest players to ever play for. I almost just screwed that up. One of the 5 greatest players to ever play in the NHL, the second best player to ever play for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Happy 35th, Sid. Hope you have many, many more, and hopefully Penguins will be able to get one more Stanley Cup for you before you retire. And also, I will say this, go check out Josh Yohe's article in The Athletic. He had a wonderful story on Sid and what he's meant to the city over this, almost 20 years at this point. So again, happy birthday, Sid. And can't wait to hopefully see many more moments from yours over the career. And for all the listeners out there, what are your favorite Sidney Crosby moments? Put them in the chat. I'm sure I probably missed well over 100 plus something Sid moments, but if I miss something glaring, just let me know. But I'll just mainly let me know what your favorite Sid moments are. And if you don't listen on YouTube, you can just DM me on social media and then all that stuff. But and then in the second segment, we're going to get into the front office hires the Penguins did make on Monday. But before I get to that, our next partner has a product I use literally every single day. I started taking Athletic Greens because didn't have time sometimes in the morning, wanted better gut health, wanted more energy, all that stuff. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, and probiotics to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all of those things. It costs you less than $3 a day to get it. You're investing in your health and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. It's also cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat, keto, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar. Athletic Greens also have 7,000 5-star reviews, recommended by many professional athletes. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, and that's it. There's no need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL-network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL-network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, I'm back here on this episode of the Locked On Penguins podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Hodes. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Hunter Hodes. Follow the show's Twitter at Eleanor Penguins. And of course, thank you all so much for making this your first listen of the day. So earlier today, around 11 o'clock on Monday morning, got the email right in front of me. So Penguins, they were able to make a few moves to their hockey operations staff. It was announced by Ron Hextall. Chris Butler is a new player development coach. Former NHL defenseman Greg Patterin is a professional scout. And Garrett Peters is a global crossover scout. So Butler, he's going to work closely with Trevor Daley, who's the hockey operations advisor. He's going to help develop the defensive prospects in the organization down in Wilkes-Barre, down in their junior teams and all that. He's also going to report to Tom Kostopoulos, who's the team's director of player development. He spent the last season as an amateur scout with the Arizona Coyotes. Greg Patterin, for all you NHL fans out there that don't just follow the Penguins, I'm sure most of you listeners follow the league outside of Pittsburgh. Most of his career was spent, with the Ducks, with the Dallas Stars. Very good defenseman. He's going to be a scout based out in California. He's going to basically scout Western Conference teams. Again, he was in the NHL for about 10 years. Most recently, a member of the Ducks organization. That last year, he ended up announcing his retirement at the end of this past season. He was actually the captain of the San Diego Gulls, which is the Ducks affiliate team. But had a very nice career for the last decade. Played almost 300 NHL games. And he played for more teams than just Anaheim and Dallas. San Jose, Colorado, Minnesota, Montreal. Again, he didn't really score that much. Only 5 goals, 44 points. But he was known for usually being really good at shutting teams down in the defense zone. As for Peters, he's going to be scouting amateur players in North America and Europe. Prior to joining Pittsburgh, he was an amateur scout for 5 seasons with the Blues. Of course, won the Stanley Cup in 2019 with them. He's in their hockey operations department. And he has also served as a scout in the QMJ HL. So, congratulations to all 3 for joining the Pittsburgh Penguins. I figured I would get into that a little bit to start off this second segment. It also looks like the Penguins are looking for a data engineer. So if you know anyone that potentially wants to work for the team, that's good with data and all that, go on. I believe it's Teamwork Online. You can apply through that. I think that's their final analytics person that the Penguins want to hire. Now switching gears a little bit here, so we're going to get into one of the jersey topics I had planned for today. I'll get into the other one for the final segment of today's show. But the first one involves the Winter Classic jersey. I'm sure everyone I know is aware that the Penguins are going to be playing the Boston Bruins January of next year. I almost just screwed up the Red Sox. I almost said TD Garden by accident. No, it's Fenway Park. Very obvious why the two teams are going to play. Fenway Sports Group, known as Boston Red Sox, the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's a very easy thing to do there. And I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, what's the jersey going to be? When are they going to announce it? I probably think the announcement's going to be maybe towards training camp sometime during the season. I do have a small scoop for you all with that. For what I've been told by a couple people, the Penguins logo is not going to be on the the crest, of the jersey. It's not going to be there. I know Taylor Haas of DK Pittsburgh Sports ran a story about a month ago, and she spoke to Kevin Acklin, who said they are going to be throwing it way back. I fully believe him with that, because I was also told that it is going to be a massive throwback jersey. I think it's going to be something that the fans have not seen for a very long time. I don't know what color it is. I don't know what it's going to say on it. All I know is that it's not going to include the Penguin logo on it, and I don't think it's going to have Penguins spelled out on like the center crest. That's at least from what I was told. So I wanted to put that out there. Maybe they'll bring back a baby blue or something like that. I don't know. I think someone was in my DMs today saying that it could be that old throwback Pittsburgh Pirates hockey jersey that was seen back, I think, in was it like the 20s and the 30s or something like that. I don't know. I know Acklin said that they picked out something that they think the fans are going to really enjoy. I'm curious to see. The Penguins Winter Classic jerseys and just their outside jerseys overall have definitely been hit or miss over the years. I was never a fan of the blue jerseys. I'll stand by that. I absolutely hate them. Bad luck aside, I just don't think they look good. I don't. For a city that has their teams basically doing black and gold, for all of them, especially the Steelers and the Pirates. Why are you like just putting out blue jerseys? I know they've worn them in the past, but they have never looked good to me. I think I would kind of be a little annoyed if they were to do like a blue diagonal or something like that, or just a blue jersey in general. I think it has to be something black and gold from a throwback way back when. But again, from what I've been told, sounds like it's going to be a jersey that does not have the Penguins logo on it in the middle, or just the Penguins spelled out in the middle. Hopefully I don't take the L on that. That's just from what I've heard, so don't shoot messenger. But I figured I would give that. I'm confident enough of putting that small scoop for you all out there. Coming up in the final segment, I'm going to get into the reverse retro stuff and what I think could be the reverse retro 2.0 jersey for the Penguins. That's all coming up right after I get into Built Bar, which is everyone's favorite bar. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you're depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. Ready? It's delicious, indulgent in cookie dough, covered in chocolate. That's right. Built has done it again. The cookie dough chunk puffs have a light and chewy texture. Real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. All of the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of actually making it. Plus, it is healthy for you. They only have 160 calories, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. You can run to Built.com to snag a box for you and the family. It'll be the perfect treat. Or you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them for yourself. You go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. All right, I'm back here on this episode of the Locked On Penguins podcast. I am your host, Hunter Hodes. Remember to follow me on Twitter at Hunter Hodes. Follow the show's Twitter at _Penguins. So I did see today Icetics, which they are very reliable when it comes to jerseys and all that stuff. They were able to leak out some of the reverse retro jerseys in a video, and then they put them out on their social media. And it looks like the Canucks are going to pay tribute to their pre-NHL franchise with a 1962 Johnny Canuck on it. The Islanders are going to be bringing back their Fisherman logo, which is that's a great logo. Tampa Bay, they're going to be bringing back their 1997 third jersey, which is, there's a little bit of blue on it, but I've always liked that one. The Devils are going to be bringing back Kansas City Scouts jersey. Sharks are bringing back the California Golden Seals jersey, which is almost look like a Seattle Supersonics jersey for my NBA fans out there. He also had one of the Oilers, the Blackhawks, and a couple other teams. Nothing on the Penguins in there. I've heard from someone what the jersey could be. I'm not fully confident to report it just yet. If it does pan out, I will say that I think most of the fan base will like it. Which leads me to this. In my opinion, I think the reverse retro, if the Penguins are getting one, and I'm sure they are, I think it should be the Robo Penguin. I know that's a very controversial topic within the Penguins community, but I absolutely love that jersey. the way it looks, the way, you can just, you see it so cleanly on the ice. That's honestly one of their best uniforms that this franchise has ever worn. And I know for a fact that Mario Lemieux was not a fan of that jersey for multiple reasons. But with new ownership, maybe they're pushing for it. Maybe they were able to get something done. Because it is a reverse retro jersey, that's going to, I think, be the big question. How do you make one that, is maybe, I shouldn't say as good as the original, but close to as good. I don't think doing one in white would make any sense. I think that would just look gross. Maybe you can do one with, a little bit of black and also a good amount of gold. I think that would also be good too. But the only thing, again, that I don't want for this one either, I just don't want another blue jersey. But just bring back the RoboPen, which has not been worn in, over a decade and a half. At this point, it would be so much fun to see them wear. I remember I even put out a tweet. Now, I think this was like several months ago, and I was just like, man, look how clean this is. And if I can find that here in my DMs that I was sending it to my buddies. So for my YouTube audience, this is what I have right here. So it's Sid with the jersey on, and it looks so freaking clean. I just, my mouth waters just looking at it, because I want that jersey back so freaking bad. But again, as soon as I potentially get more confirmation on that, you all be the first to know. I'm not fully comfortable yet running it, because I don't have, the full confirmation that I need for it. But it'll be interesting to see, when that jersey is announced. It might be during the season. It might be training camp. I'm not really sure. Sometimes they don't announce them. I think, honestly, the last reverse retro jersey they announced I believe it was during the year. I don't think they announced it prior to the season. And, I know some people didn't like that one. It was the knockoff Pittsburgh Diagonal, the white version of it. I thought it was fine. I think it was one of the better jerseys that they've produced in the last handful of years. A hell of a lot better than that stupid, just mustard jersey that they wore in the playoffs. I don't know whose idea that was to wear that third jersey in the playoffs against the Islanders, but just a really funny decision, I think, to say the least. Obviously, I know they brought back the original Pittsburgh Diagonal, which is awesome in its own right. But if they can bring back the Robo Penguin, I think I will have gotten every wish that I've ever made, almost, when it comes to this team. I've already seen the championships. I've seen Sid and Gino and Letang do their things, and so many other stuff. But if they can bring back the Robo Penguin, and I can see Sid and all them wear it at least once, I will be a very happy camper, to say the least. But that will do it for this episode of the Locked On Penguins podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. Again, this is definitely the time of year where there's not a lot out there, but it's my job and my duty to bring you all content every time I come. My voice comes to your airwaves, and I don't want to ever come on here and say, well, there's nothing to talk about. There's always things to talk about when it comes to this team. My next episode for the show will be on Wednesday, so I will talk to you all then. Hope you have a great Monday and Tuesday.